Recommendations for Special Education Assessment. Laurie Marbinas, University of New England. Roderick Elementary Demographics. The Roderick Elementary School serves grades 4 through 6. The demographics of our school reflect a lack of diversity. After assessing the low percentage of students who qualify for free and reduced lunch, we can assume that only a minority of families are low income. The number of students on IEPs is low, and only a small margin are English language learners. The assessment process. Universal screening tools are given twice a year in our school, the beginning of the year and the end of the year. Initially, they are used to determine necessary supports for students in reading and math. Once students are identified, they are placed in groups with a reading specialist, math specialist, or paraprofessional. If behavior or social emotional challenges are identified at any point by the classroom teacher, students may be placed in a social support group with an adjustment counselor. Progress is assessed after 6 to 12 weeks, depending on the student. Determination is then made if a special education referral is needed. What's missing? Consistent progress monitoring. John Hoover writes, "The primary purposes of progress monitoring are to determine the extent to which students are learning that which is being taught and effectiveness of instruction." More specifically, progress monitoring determines both level of achievement as well as rate of improvement or progress for the purpose of implementing more effective education to students. An area where we are lacking in our assessment process is progress monitoring. Students are placed in groups that remain stagnant for the entire school year. What's missing? Behavior screening. Jeffrey Sprague writes, "Behavior and academic success are intimately connected and need to be intelligently addressed together. While our school is making progress in supporting students with social emotional challenges, we have a long way to go. Behavior screening that accesses the student's outlook would be beneficial to improving our behavioral assessment process." What's missing? A variety of assessment tools. John Hoover writes, "The assessment of struggling learners often requires the use of multiple measures to best understand student needs. The use of only one measure or one assessment score may not provide sufficient information to make the most informed decision for instruction. Our school currently only uses 2 universal screening tools for ELA, STAR and Fountas and Pinnell, and 1 for mathematics, STAR. There are no other tools used to screen for RTI supports. Only if a student is given a special education referral do they receive any further assessment." Assessment recommendation. Universal screening tool. The A-Math assessment from Fastbridge Learning. Our students would benefit from a second mathematics assessment to determine RTI support needs. Fastbridge Learning's A-Math assessment is given at least 3 times a year, takes a short amount of time to administer, and covers a variety of skills. Implementation recommendations. Universal screening tool. The A-Math assessment. According to the Fastbridge Learning website, A-Math is administered and scored with browser-based software. It may be administered individually or by group. Students are set up with earphones and a laptop, desktop, or mobile tablet device. A teacher or other staff person logs into FAST, selects the student or students' names, and proctors the assessment. Administration and scoring are fully automated. The questions vary and are based on individual student goals. The Center on Response to Intervention states, "The ultimate goal of math is instructional efficacy. A-Math directly addresses issues of instructional relevance. It is designed to optimize each assessment for each student based on their response pattern. Grade level references are just a convenience to identify the most relevant skills across the developmental range for the typically developing child. This means that a student is not assessed based on only grade level expectations, but on more individualized expectations. Each question on the A-Math assessment is given both audibly and visually. According to the Center on Response to Intervention, testers will require less than 4 hours of training. Online training modules are provided for teachers to become certified administrators of the A-Math assessment. Rationale: Universal Screening Tool, the A-Math assessment. The A-Math program provides score reports including initial screening results, specified skills, growth monitoring, and comparisons of relative benchmark results. Information is recorded for each individual as well as groups of students with similar challenges. The screening tool also includes a screening to intervention tool. The FastBridge Learning website states, "The built-in recommendation engine guides teachers to applicable interventions available within their school and district." Because there are minimal materials, the cost would be low for the district, running around $6 per student. Assessment recommendation: Progress monitoring, Renaissance Accelerated Reader 360. Teachers would benefit from a consistent, easy-to-use progress monitoring tool for reading skills. With over 200,000 fiction and nonfiction titles to choose from, every student can find something that interests them. Books can be read online, or students can read their book and just take the quiz online. Not only is comprehension assessed, but vocabulary and other literacy skills as well. Implementation recommendation: Progress monitoring tool, Renaissance Accelerated Reader 360. It is time we take a closer look at how much reading is actually happening in our classrooms and what the students are getting out of this reading. We already implement the STAR ELA assessment, which is a Renaissance product, at the beginning of the school year, so Accelerated Reader 360 is a logical choice for a reading comprehension monitoring tool. Regarding the accessibility of the program being online and its specific features, 4th grade teacher Christina Ostrander states, "The talk, the discussion, the sharing, the ability to read and respond to things quickly, highlight, tag, those are all things that we ask to do in our classrooms. Just now, they are doing them in digital form." Rationale: Progress monitoring tool, Renaissance Accelerated Reader 360. Because our school already subscribes to the Renaissance program, we are able to access the Accelerated Reader 360 program. There is a one-time fee for STAR reading that has already been paid, and additional costs are only 99 cents per student per year. The data gathered from the Accelerated Reader 360 quizzes are extremely useful for guiding instruction and identifying possible challenges students are facing, and the results are given in a timely manner. Renaissance Learning states, AR360 instantly scores each completed quiz and generates comprehensive data summaries, which helps teachers guide students to appropriate reading material, monitor reading practice, and target instruction. This immediate feedback helps students and teachers together evaluate whether reading is adequately matched to the student's skills and makes students aware of their thought processes. Accelerated Reader 360 uses the ATOS readability formula to determine reading levels. The validity of the formula is constantly being assessed in order to provide the most reliable and accurate results. According to Renaissance Learning, in 2013, advances in technology and statistical techniques were applied to refine the ATOS readability formula. They made adjustments so the grade level spectrum reaches the lowest and highest points. The formula is able to determine readability for shorter passages, and the vocabulary was increased by nearly 75,000 words. Assessment recommendation, behavioral assessment tool, behavioral assessment system for children. The Behavioral Assessment System for Children, or BASC, is an assessment tool used to determine motivations behind student behavior and social-emotional challenges. The assessment uses computer-based scoring and is based on current trending behaviors throughout the U.S. Implementation recommendation, behavioral assessment tool, behavioral assessment system for children. The BASC system uses input from teachers, parents, and students to determine behaviors that may be interfering with a child's performance in school. In an overview of BASC, Pearson writes, brief, targeted forms and software for monitoring changes in behavior or emotional status. Teachers and parents answer questionnaires regarding the frequency of behaviors both at school and at home. There is also a questionnaire for parents to reflect on their relationship with their child. Students answer questions about frequency of certain behaviors as well. Forms are available for families who speak Spanish and are comprised of yes/no questions instead of comparative questions. Rationale, behavioral assessment tool, behavioral assessment system for children. In order to implement the BASC correctly, teachers and counselors will watch a 20-minute video overview of the program. The assessment provides a great deal of information because teachers, parents, and students are all interviewed. It is important when developing behavioral interventions that the most in-depth information is gathered. Buck, Holloway, Kirkpatrick, and Patton write, in many instances, school personnel often provide inappropriate interventions because they fail to identify the true cause of the disruptive behavior. Another reason that improper intervention occurs is due to misdiagnosis of the type of the behavior. The BASC website writes, one of the benefits of the BASC is that it differentiates between hyperactivity and attention problems with one efficient instrument. Meeting the 5 assessment principles. All 3 of these suggested assessments meet the 5 assessment principles. The assessments take the student's background and their background knowledge into account. Sarah Goodlove Evans writes, an educational assessment that demonstrates cultural sensitivity, respects diversity, strives to fairly represent gender in non-stereotypical ways, and contains content that a student from anywhere in the country, from any socioeconomic strata, would have access to understanding. The content being assessed in the 3 proposed assessment tools address learning content and behavioral expectations of students with various learning styles and differences. The 3 assessment tools also provide students with accommodations that make the assessment accessible to all students. Evans states, accessibility in educational assessment translates into the tools, assists, devices, and accommodations that are allowed so that students can either take the same test as their peers or have an equivalent assessment experience. Whether the accessibility issue is language-based, cognition-based, or developmentally based, these 3 assessment tools provide an opportunity for all students to complete to the best of their ability. How do the 3 assessments complement each other? There are numerous benefits to using technology-enhanced assessments. Our students use technology often in the classroom, and probably more often at home, so it is a familiar, engaging, and comfortable medium. Technology also makes gathering and evaluating the data easier. The technology of these assessments also make it easier to differentiate the assessment. The University of Reading writes, TEA can take a great many forms, and the design flexibility that this might afford you allows you to assess a wide range of student skills and competencies beyond simply recall. All of these assessments require little training or continued professional development, which benefits our teachers greatly. We already have so much on our plate, it is nice to have a user-friendly, valid, and reliable assessment to count on. Finally, all 3 of these assessments address our school-wide expectations of continuous growth in learning. They are designed to identify the needs of our students so we, teachers and administrators, can create the best opportunities for them to succeed in the classroom.